Now, how many of you digitized places outside of, or digitized tundra from Monday? Did anyone?
I think I kind of switched gears in the middle and just said, let's all just do trailheads.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. I remember now. Okay, so we will use, we'll use our vegetation layer. So I'm going to turn off my streams buffer because it's big and ugly. And I'm going to right click on my Bear Lake NLCD poly layer, and I'm going to zoom to that layer. Right. If I wanted alpine tundra, my guess is that it would be on bare land. So we are going to make a new selection and make a new vegetation field. So we are going to select, so in our map tab, oh boy, oh, I just auto hid my, in our map tab, in the selection box, we're going to select by attributes. And we are going to look at our land cover polygons once again. And our expression is going to be where grid code is equal to, oh boy, what is our grid code equal to? I believe it's 31. 31. So this is only going to select that has the grid code equal to 31, which is barren land. Okay, 59 features are selected. Now we're going to right click and open, right click on Bear Lake in our table of contents and select attribute table. You guys may remember these steps from before the break. And we're going to calculate a field, but this time instead of choosing calculate here, we are going to right click on the vegetation column. So at the top where it says vegetation, we will right click and choose calculate field from the options. And we are going to call this vegetation equals, in the text box in quotes, bare ground. If I could spell ground correctly. And click run. So now all of our bare ground, if I close our attribute table, all of our bare ground has turned gray because it is an all other value. Clear my selection. Actually, I'm going to turn off my boundary as well. So you can see that it's gray because we don't have a listing for it in our symbology. We can make one. So if we right click on vegetation, or sorry, on that Bear Lake NLCD and select symbology, we'll bring up our symbology pane on the right. And you'll notice forest, grassland, and wetland are listed, but not bare ground. We can add a value by clicking this green plus sign at the top of our table, add unlisted values. You can select bare ground by clicking on it and clicking OK. You'll now see that it is added both to our list here on the right and here in the table of contents. I'm going to make this bare ground white. We are going to pretend that all of this bare ground is tundra. Most of it probably is. That's, oh. My apologies, my daughter walked into my office. Okay, now that we've got our tundra showing, we can find those places where trails intersect tundra. So how would we do that? Does anyone have an idea of what tool we would use? Don't everyone talk at once.
Intersect, and the outcome would be a line, not a point.
Absolutely correct. So if we go to our analysis tab at the top and select tools, brings up our geoprocessing window, and we want to find intersect. It might be in your favorites, but if it is not, you can type it into the text box in the top, select intersect. This time our input features are going to be our trails and our polygons. Oh, but you'll see it's going to select all of our polygons, right? So we have one extra step that we have to do before that. And that is using what's called a definition query, because we only want to look at our tundra or our bare ground. So we're going to right click in our table of contents here on the left. We're going to right click on our Bear Lake NLCD poly and go to properties. In the properties menu that shows up, there's something called definition query. You'll select that and then select new definition query. And you'll notice this looks a lot like the other query boxes that we've seen, like with select by attribute. And it's the same system. So we want to select things where the vegetation is equal to bare ground. So the left dropdown will be vegetation. That is the field we are looking at. The center dropdown is equal to, which is the default value. And on the right, we want bare ground. And we'll hit apply. Now when we hit OK, you'll notice that everything other than the bare ground disappears. So now when we run a geoprocessing tool on this layer, it will only look at those items that fit that definition query. So if we come back over to our intersect pane in our geoprocessing tools, we'll see we have the trails with the polygons. The output type is going to be a line. And the feature class we'll call Tundra Trails. And once again, when your window looks something like this, you can click Run. And what we get, if we turn off our normal trails, we get segments of trail here, here, that are within, that fall within the tundra or the bare ground. Excellent. So if we wanted, say, some signs that said, warning, you are an alpine tundra, please stay on the trail, this would be where we would put them. Now, to get rid of that definition query that we made, because we want to look at our pretty forests and grasslands, once again, in our table of contents, you can right-click on that NLCD, the Bear Lake NLCD poly, go to Properties. In the Definition Query tab, if you mouse over the query that we made, where it's vegetation equals bare ground, you'll see a little red X. You can click that and remove that query, and you'll get a pop-up saying, do you really want to remove it? We say, yes, we do. So now when we click OK, our vegetation is back. Any questions about that? Excellent. So at this point, it would be a good idea to save our project. So up in the upper left, save, saves the project. If we had made edits, we would also click Save here in our Edit tab. But as we have just been creating data and running geoprocessing tools, we weren't editing the data. We were just making new stuff.